8 tips that make you live longer and better after 50. It's very common after this age to start having health problems, largely because of lifestyle habits. And these 8 habits, these 8 tips, will help you with that. Often I see people using 5 or 6 different medications when in fact that number could be much lower. These tips help reduce your risk of high blood pressure, risk of diabetes, and improve your health. So pay attention because it can make all the difference in your life. I'm just going to ask you to like this video. I'm going to make a goal of 8,000 likes, 1,000 likes for each tip, which increases life expectancy. So you help increase the life expectancy of this video as well, because the system understands that the video is relevant and more people can access that information. It also encourages me to produce more content like this for you. Here we go. There are 8 tips. The first tip: consumption of fruits with a low glycemic index. Oh, but don't fruits have fructose? Isn't fructose harmful? No, fructose itself doesn't harm your body. What does is excessive fructose. And if you choose fruits with a low glycemic index, what is that? It's how much your body has to work to digest the fruit. How much does that fruit raise your blood sugar? You should choose fruits that don't raise it as much. So with a low glycemic index. I'll give you an example here. I'm going to talk a little bit about this fruit that I like a lot, which is the apple with its skin on, okay? Just remember that. Lots of people will say, oh, but what about pesticides? If you pick up and wash the apple with a loofah, you greatly reduce the amount of these pesticides. If you can't, of course, buy an organic apple. Many people don't have access to them, either because they live in a small town or because organic food is more expensive. But this is a quick tip that also helps. But what are the benefits? Apples are studied. We know that they can improve blood fat, cholesterol, because they have pectin, which is a soluble fiber that can improve heart health, for example. So this reduces the risk of a heart attack because it improves the lipid profile. Apples also have a potent antioxidant called quercetin. What is the function of antioxidants? Antioxidants aid in the prevention of several diseases, including cancer. I'm not saying that apples are used to treat cancer. That's not it. But they can help prevent cancer. They assist in prevention because antioxidants protect our cells from mutations. So, another point in favor of apples. Apples also contain potassium that can help regulate blood pressure. So for those with high blood pressure, apples are also a good food choice. Rich in fiber, apples have also been proven to improve gut health, even reducing the risk of colorectal cancer. Another point for apples. In addition to several vitamins such as vitamin B1, B2, and vitamin C, apples are rich in various nutrients, which is why there's a saying, eat an apple a day to keep the doctors away, because it's a very healthy food. Apples also have a low glycemic load. What does this mean? A low concentration of sugars, which also helps your metabolism. What other fruits have a low glycemic index and a low glycemic load? Cherry, and I'm talking about fresh cherries. Not candied cherries, strawberries, plums, but unpeeled to get the benefit of fiber, guava, passion fruit, peach, orange, nectarine. There are several fruits and options. You can choose whichever one you like most because they all have a great benefit to health. Number 2, coffee consumption. That's right, coffee. Coffee is beneficial for health. There was a study that compared people who drank coffee and people who didn't. And it was seen that those people who drank it had a 33% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Coffee also has other benefits, such as decreasing your chance of having a heart attack, a stroke. That's right. Coffee can decrease your cardiovascular risk, decreases the risk of Alzheimer's, depression. So coffee is beneficial for your health. And these studies, what is the coffee dosage? What is very important? It's not just to go out drinking coffee and think that everything is okay. Up to 3 cups of 200 milliliters per day. So 600 milliliters of coffee is a pretty good considerable dose. If it's espresso, up to 3 doses of 30 to 50 milliliters. It will depend on the espresso coffee dose. Why? Each 200 milliliters cup of coffee has an average of 100 milligrams of caffeine, and it's the equivalent to a shot of espresso, which will also have that same 100 milligrams shot of caffeine. So there are these benefits. Of course, coffee has some contraindications. There are people who can't drink coffee. I'm talking generally here in general, but for example, for those who have reflux, can coffee make reflux worse? Yes, it can. Gastritis can also make gastritis worse. And other specific situations, there are people who report that coffee worsens anxiety, can trigger anxiety crisis, so then you won't use coffee. But I really like to drink coffee, of course, unsweetened coffee. If you like, write down here for me what you like the most about drinking coffee brewed espresso coffee. I like espresso coffee. I'm a coffee fan, but it truly has several health benefits. And it can even reduce the risk of death from all causes, which is very significant indeed. Coffee is a great food. Number 3, fish consumption. And here I'm going to put the fish rich in omega-3, which are also studied for the prevention of cardiovascular diseases such as tuna, sardines, salmon. But not only them, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't have access. I can't buy salmon, for example. Could it be another type of fish? Yes, it can, because fish is rich in protein, which is essential for your health to improve immunity, for muscle mass, for muscles. So it's important. The consumption of fish is beneficial for your health. So focus on fish consumption. The fish you have access to will be good for your health, for your body as well. Number 4, and this tip here is very interesting, because after 50 years of age, the frequency that people use sleeping pills is very high. So don't use sleeping pills unless your doctor strongly suggests it. I'm not telling you not to follow the doctor's recommendations, so if they recommend it, because they think it's worth it in your case. But generally speaking, these sleeping pills increase your risk of falling, increasing your risk of having a femur fracture, for example. A femur fracture in certain situations ends up reducing life expectancy. So don't use sleeping pills unless you have strong advice from your doctor. Number 5, cocoa consumption. Look how wonderful. When did you think I was going to talk about dark chocolate here? A small tablet, about 30 grams of dark chocolate, or cocoa. Could it be cocoa powder? It could, but I'm going to talk about cocoa here, okay? I only use dark chocolate because it's an example that you can find very easily, and it's also delicious to eat. Cocoa, in addition to having several antioxidants, has a study that has found that people who consume 30 grams of cocoa experience a benefit of reduced blood pressure. So cocoa is good for cardiovascular health. Besides having iron, what is the main cause of anemia? The lead cause is iron deficiency anemia. So cocoa can also help with this issue. But I want to emphasize the benefit of lowering blood pressure. So it's worth it. I eat a 30-gram bar every day. And many people ask, so if 30 grams has this effect, if I eat 100, if I consume more cocoa, I will have greater benefits, right? But no, it doesn't work that way. The recommended dose is 30 grams. Exceeding it could result in an excess of calories in your diet, which would increase your weight and consequently lead to metabolic problems. You will not only obtain the benefits, but also the downsides. Number 6, physical exercise. Specifically, I'm going to highlight walking, because there are several studies that link physical exercise, the practice of physical activity, for at least 150 minutes a week, divided into 3 or more days. So, for example, 30 minutes 5 days a week? Great. Or 50 minutes 3 days a week. A lot of people ask, oh, but what if it's only on Saturday? It doesn't have any proven benefit, okay? So 3 or more days, at least 150 minutes of walking can help with blood sugar control, can help reduce blood pressure, and even for those who have fat in the liver, physical exercise is one of the pillars of treatment, so it's worth you adding walks. Can it be treadmill walking? It can be walking on the treadmill. It can even be at home. What counts is that you're exercising. Number 7, and this tip you already know, is not to smoke and limit alcohol consumption. When it comes to cigarettes, it's 0. There's no discussion about that. Why did I say limit alcohol consumption? Because up to 1 drink, that is a maximum of 1 drink per day, if you don't have any other contraindications, like for example, if you have fat in the liver from alcohol, for example, then you will have to zero out. But generally, 1 dose a day, a glass of wine, for example, would not increase the risk of a heart attack, a stroke, it would not harm your health. So, smoking. No way. Limiting your alcohol consumption to 1 dose a day, depending on the situation, will also have to be 0. And number 8, our last tip. This tip here can reduce by up to 40% the risk of a stroke, so you have to be careful with that, which is your salt consumption. What is the average salt consumption? 10 grams. In Portugal, 11 grams. In the United States, it's also on this average. And why is this so important? Because you have to keep your salt consumption, the table salt I'm mentioning, to 5 grams. So on average, we consume more than twice the recommended amount, so up to 5 grams. And it's also important to limit your sodium intake, not just salt, but sodium, because it's no use if you don't add salt. You must also take care and eat foods that are high in sodium, like sausages, for instance. It is going to hurt and increase your chances of having a stroke or a heart attack. So what is the maximum amount of sodium consumption? Up to 2 grams of sodium. You have to look at the packages and know what you are consuming, because many people consume more than twice that. Then they have to take more blood pressure, more heart medications, for example. So reduce salt and sodium consumption. I am not saying to zero out. No. Is it okay? It is up to 5 grams of table salt. Did you enjoy this video? What score would you give from 0 to 10? If it's 10, I'll make more videos like this one. If you want to follow the videos on this channel, do not forget to subscribe. I invite you to watch the new videos and also activate the bell notifications so YouTube will notify you or send you a notification whenever I post. If you're already subscribed, make sure the bell is activated so you can keep up. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion. It's a video I talked about walking. We have already seen that it has many benefits, but in this video, I specifically talk about the benefits of walking. There are 11 benefits, and I also give you a tip that will increase the chance of you being able to do physical exercise, physical activities. It's worth checking out. Hugs